It turns out that, thanks to Anna pointing this out to me, that there is strong emerging evidence Gen Z is indeed less sexually active, dating less compared to previous generations.
Yes.
What's going on, guys?
So many things.
Okay, I can't wait to hear.
I didn't want to stop it this soon, but I don't know if you guys heard when she said, you know, there are less Gen Z men dating or whatever, that somebody in the background, I don't know if it was Anna, I don't know if there's anybody else on this panel, I'm blind reacting to this video, but you could clearly hear somebody go womp womp, like, yeah, we don't care about men's issues, basically, because that's all it's always been. Women do not care about men's issues. They're dismissed. A lot of the times they make fun of men for their issues. Oh, you don't want to have a high suicide rate? Well, stop being a misogynist pig or whatever. I don't want to get too much into it because I do want to watch this video, but I just want you guys to take note of what happened there and in the way this conversation I think is going to devolve. They're pretty much, in my opinion, I'm going to assume they're going to basically dismiss men's problems, like a lot of women tend to do. But let's continue.
Hear what you have to say about this, but first let me set it up and give you the deets, okay? What's going on? So
can we go past can we go over?
We can if you can, Doc.
Yeah, I go over, yeah.
So there have now been multiple studies indicating that young men, and I'm talking about the ages
can we
when
do
they're
it
like
point by point as you're bringing these things up? Can I address them as you bring
Sure,
them up?
sure. So
each of these things have layers to them.
They do.
Young
So
men.
I'm going to give
young
you
men first. Let's talk about them.
We're going to talk about young men first, and this has to do with their sexual activity.
Yes.
So
You need to define young so we can.
Yes, I am.
Good point.
So let me do it uninterrupted so I can get it out. Okay. So Indiana University, for instance, did a study, and they found in their study of men between the ages of 18 to 24. So we're talking about the time when they like really want to get it on, usually, right?
Yes.
Only one in 3 of them reported no sexual activity in the past year. 1 in 3.
Yeah.
So 1/3 of young men in that age group, no sex at all.
Yeah.
And I want to know why.
What's the comparison point? Like what happened 20 years ago?
What was it? Yeah.
Yeah, 20 years ago, what was the rate?
I don't know the comparison rate.
I promise it was higher 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, the study is the first to include such a comprehensive assessment of diverse sexual behaviors. The information came from U.S. participants ages 14 to 49 during 2009.
14 to 49.
Yeah.
2009?
No, between 2009 and 2018. So this is a long-term study that they did.
So, and by the way, it's worse since COVID.
Yes,
COVID
okay.
made it
Oh,
worse.
yeah, completely.
Yes, so there have been other studies showing that this was even more pronounced after COVID.
What's the mechanism there?
Really, before you go,
Many.
Doctor, can I just say one quick thing?
Please.
I blame feminism. Listen, Tinder just put out a height filter. What I can say about this
I'm
girl,
actually surprised that the women in the panel, at least one of the women on the panel isn't. I'm actually surprised that one of the women on the panel is actually blaming the true cause of this phenomenon. But again, let's continue. I want to hear what the points are, and then we're going to break them down, talk, and I'm going to give you guys my opinion.
that they should be empowered enough that they can create their own custom-built men, that they deserve everything, don't need to work for anything, whereas men, they need to build up their income, their body, their physique, their personal development. Apparently, that's the one thing they...
Yeah, that's the other one. Apparently, if we say we don't want an oversized woman, a woman that's got too much body weight going on, we're misogynistic pigs, but and that's... We're not supposed to have those kind of standards as men, but if a woman wants a guy or won't date a guy that's like shorter than 5'10", that's just preference. That's just preference, and that's not misandry at all. That's just female empowerment, because you shouldn't settle for less than what you want. But men are expected to settle for something that you can actually change. You cannot change your height, but you can change your weight. But men are supposed to settle for the overweight women, or else we're misogynistic, but they're not allowed to, or they won't settle for men over a certain height. And that's empowering.
Can't build up, right? This dating market is totally rigged for women. And I think that's why guys aren't getting laid.
Benny Johnson said this to me, and then I'm going to stop talking because I definitely want to hear from Dr. Drew, but he's like, the world was a better place when men had a harder time seeing boobs. And I kind of want wonder.
Okay.
But anyway, okay, go.
My
go.
bad.
That's another layer to it. That their men are just okay.
Too much porn.
So let me just
that is my question.
Let me quickly clarify the study, okay? Because it wasn't a long-term study. My bad, I misread this. So they did the study in 2009, and then they did the same study in 2018. Yes. So to compare, and this is what they write. So they say, compared to adult participants in the 2009 survey, adults in the 2018 group were significantly more likely to report no penile vaginal intercourse in the prior year, the researchers found. Study participants were also significantly less likely to report engaging in any other sexual behaviors, such as oral sex or, other things.
Anything,
All modes of past year partnered sex were reported by fewer in the 2018 cohort. So it is a growing problem.
Oh yeah, and so we know birth rates are plummeting, right? So people are not forming pairs, they're not falling in love, they're not having sexual encounters. There's some data that shows that the apps are leaving a 5 or 10% zone of men that are having lots of sex, and they're the ones that
Super
are super users, and they're actually hurting people. They're hurting women. And women are, I hear a lot from women, where are the men? Where are all the
There's
men?
a term for that.
There's
They're
no
called
men.
fuckboys.
Well, you
Literally,
have vilified being a man. You have vilified it. I have been around the Gen Z and the millennials for quite some time. And what I saw was men fearful of being seen as toxic or trying to rape. They just withdrew. And if you, God help you, if you offer a girl a beer,
I'll take the beer.
I would.
I'm a married
woman. I
woman.
have a friend that got kicked out of 2 bars in New York for buying women drinks. 2 different bars.
Are you serious?
It's considered predatory.
Wow.
So men are scared shitless. They don't know what to do. Then because they're withdrawing so much, they first of all don't feel worth. They're being told they're not worthwhile. They're particularly young white men are told they're bad, they're evil, they're the source of all problems. And they don't develop the skills necessary to
communicate.
communicate,
so sad.
to determine what they want to do. And they turn to porn.
I was going to ask you
And the
that.
porn gives them unrealistic.
And Dr. Drew is making some amazing points here. I'm sorry to interject, but yeah, it's a combination of, vilification, female empowerment, and, just telling men overall, like, you're useless. And especially, like he said, especially white men, they're especially useless, or they're like the source of all the problems. Everything bad that's going on in the world is because of white men. They're being constantly told that a man can't even offer a girl a drink without being called a creep. If a man tries to like talk to a woman on the streets, oh, he's catcalling me, or whatever the case may be. Or you'll have women in the gym who are recording themselves, and a man might look over for a second, and next thing you know, there's a video of him online, and they're calling him a creep because he looked in your general direction. Like, men can't even find women attractive anymore. Like, a man can't look at a woman because she's attractive, because that's seen as creepy behavior. So when women are constantly telling men they're creepy and they're bad, and they're being told, female empowerment, all this, all that stuff, how are men supposed to attract women? How are they supposed to talk to women? How are they supposed to, just in general, just make connections with people? You can't even do that at the workplace anymore, right? Like, you can't talk to women at the workplace because, again, you might get a word from HR because somebody say hi to you and touch your shoulder and you didn't like it, but he might have not even meant anything from it or whatever. Just being friendly, and next thing you know, you got to be talking to HR. Why were you talking or saying hello this kind of way, and then touching a woman on her shoulders? And it's it's not worth the headache. It's not worth losing your job. It's not worth with us being increasingly online as human beings. It's not worth finding out that somebody made a video about you, calling you a creep to the entire planet, and now people may recognize you on the street. Aren't you that creep guy who was doing, even if you didn't do nothing? Because while you might be innocent in the court of law, you might not be in the court of public opinion. And so that's a sad reality that men are facing. Like he said, they're turning to porn because, hey, guess what? The girl in the porn video ain't going to tell you no. The girl in the porn video ain't going to call you a creep. Like, she's not. So, I mean, let's just let Dr. Drew continue talking.
Expectations about everything, and they sort of take the position like, I'm fine, I got my porn, I'm fine. And for the first time, I did a show called After Dark for a few years over at your mom's house, And I started hearing about, from young men, something I had not heard all these decades talking to young men, the use of prostitutes. They were starting to turn to prostitutes because they had no other option.
And not only that, but OnlyFans, because OnlyFans, especially in
OnlyFans
today's
is a huge
generation,
problem.
young women are literally getting excited to turn 18 so they can create an OnlyFans because
that breaks my
they are
heart.
seeing other women out there portray this lifestyle, and you know why they're oftentimes portraying it? Because there are affiliate programs attached to OnlyFans where if you recruit other women, you make
like
buck
a pyramid scheme.
off of
No,
what
that's
they make.
terrible.
It's a pyramid scheme.
But it's not just that, right? So it's not the affiliate programs. What a lot of these women don't understand too is that these women might be portraying the lifestyle. They're going to Dubai, they're doing this, they're doing that, and we know what they're going to Dubai for, man. It's to get that brown cream on their chest. But they're doing all these things and they're portraying this lifestyle. And what they don't actually realize, these girls, is that majority of OnlyFans models, or I don't even want to call them models, but majority of OnlyFans girls aren't making a goddamn dollar on the website. They're posting their content online basically for free or behind, you know, it's not free because it's behind the paywall, but they're not making money. The girls they're seeing are like the 1%ers of the website that are making money. Majority of the people that are on OnlyFans selling content, because that's what they like to call it, content, aren't making a single dime every month. Yet they're being, they could be exposing themselves online for the whole world, family to see, potential employers once they realize that there's no money on OnlyFans. And it's extremely sad.
Where are the parents?
This is the prostitution
I have the
aspect
answer
is becoming
to
more
that
and more
question.
normalized. And it's not just that. They're not only buying these women's pictures, but then their managers are messaging them, building parasocial relationships with these men.
The parasocial relationship thing is huge.
It's sick.
So Dr. Drew, one last question, because I hear you in regard to culture and how that's changed and how that impacts, relationships in America. I am also curious about the impact of social media and how increasingly people aren't actually meeting with their friends in real life, communicating face to face. So when you don't have that, there's like a difficulty in communicating when you're trying to, seduce someone into a relationship.
All of it speaks of no experience, no skill.
Right.
I remember back in the 90s, I used to be, the hookup culture was the big thing. And I kept saying, you're not happy doing this, I can tell, because you're always drunk when you do it. And I was advocating dating, where you just sit down, enjoy time with somebody, learn who you are, learn who to break bread, whatever. Don't have all these expectations on every time you go out with somebody. That needs to come back again. That people need to hang out in person, in flesh with people a lot, and just enjoy that and develop a skill and start to figure out who you are, what you want, and who other people are. But this vilification of the young male has gone out of control. And they're pissed.
Yeah.
And I'm worried when they come out of it that they're going to
I have a confession.
Adam said
like
the same thing.
A big confession. Okay, so look, every woman is different. So I don't speak for all women.
You don't?
I
Why
don't.
not?
But I also have a problem with some women, who have engaged in that, rhetoric in regard to men, kind of speaking on my behalf, because I'll just talk about my preference. My preference is masculine men, like traditionally masculine men. That's what I'm just attracted to. I can't explain why. It just is what it is. So this push to make men meek is unfair to women who don't want meek men either.
I don't know any women who truly want that,
very
Dr.
few
Drew.
people
In fact,
want
from
that.
an evolutionary perspective,
Does
the
it make sense?
masculine guy
Right.
thing, I remember
if I'm on a train.
It's funny that Anna, liberal women are funny. The feminists are hilarious because, again, they see men as the source of all the problems that they just call just regular masculinity is now just called toxic masculinity, and they don't want the men to be masculine. But I've seen plenty of videos of women, traditionally liberal women. I've seen this on TikTok. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it all over the place where they're like, I'm looking for a man's man who's all this and this and this and that, but can't be not a conservative. But traditionally liberal men aren't the way that these women are they're not what these women are looking for. Because a liberal man is gonna do, he's gonna try to avoid being a toxic male, right? He's not gonna be, he's cool with splitting the check 50-50. He's cool with you doing things for yourself, you know, night going 50-50 on everything. If you guys live together, they're like, they're cool with that. But these women don't want that. But at the same time, they want a masculine man, while at the same time they're trying to emasculate men, which absolutely makes no sense. It makes zero sense for them to want to do that to the men. But I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't make sense. Like she said, from an evolutionary standpoint, from a biological standpoint, women are attracted to masculine men. It's why whenever there is some sort of danger, let's say a fire, I don't want to say war because, you know, they always like to go, who are the men committing the wars? Like, who are the people committing the wars? It's the men. And it's like, okay, all right, so we'll give you one. We'll give you, but let's just say it's a fire. Who are you going to want to come rescue you? A masculine man that's strong, that can jump into a building and through a fire, move things and make sure you get out of there safely, or a soy boy who loves to drink his freaking latte every morning and has never been to the gym because, oh, that's toxic masculinity. I'd rather read books. Like, and again, there's nothing wrong with reading books, by the way. I read books. But my point is that all the things that strong men find inherently good, like fighting, for example, the UFC, boxing, football, you know, masculine things, working out, liberal men don't find that. It's not enticing to them. So, but again, yes, feminism has been the major reason why I think we're having a lot of these problems, because women are being empowered to the point where now it's cool to call men, you know, literally openly hate men just because they exist. But a man can't do the same and make the comments about the women online because they'll get banned or they'll lose their job or whatever. And I mean, I've seen so many videos. But yeah, femininity or feminism, not femininity. Feminism has ruined a generation of women, and it's the reason why they're shifting more to the left. They're more liberal now than ever, while the men are more shifting to the right or are more conservative than ever. And the reason they're turning away from this is because they're like, yo, why do I want to be with a person who openly hates my existence without even knowing who I am as a person? I'm not going to watch this whole thing. I've already made this video long enough. I just thought it was an interesting conversation. I will link this video in the description box below so you guys can watch the whole thing. But I was actually surprised at the level-headedness of the conversation that we're having because, like I said at the very beginning, I heard somebody go womp womp when she said, like, men aren't dating. So I thought it was going to be like, you know, just liberal women against Dr. Drew, and it was going to devolve into, you know, just, you know, a crap show. I know Anna Kasparian, she's on the left, but she's always been, well, not always. She's a lot more reasonable now in her takes than she was before, and I think it's because she's gone through, like, this sort of, like, political realignment, and she's looking to learn more and be more open, which I think is cool. But yeah, that's all I got for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Again, the link will be in the description box, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.